Hey guys, this is Laura Craigie, and today is another Seeing Double video. I'm excited to do that today, and I went ahead and pre-pulled a bunch of products, just kind of in color palette, that I thought I'd use today, and I'm going to very briefly talk about them, and then I will get right to the project. And I definitely won't be using all of these, but this is what I've pulled, and yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and quickly go through these. This stamp is from Hero Arts. I think it's just the cutest thing ever, and I picked up a couple new ink pads as well. I wanted to give them a try, and I'm really happy with them, and I am definitely planning on using this no matter what on the page, just because I love it so much. And I have that in the Navy and Tide Pool inks, and they were kind of the starting point for the palette of my color palette of my page. Then I have some Solid Divine Twine, some Heidi Swap color shine in the mint green. It's really pretty. Some washi tape. This is the Swiss Stop pattern by Doodlebug, and these are really low price point. I think they're $1.99. Sometimes you'll find washi can be up to like $4 or $5, so if you want to give washi a try, it's a really good price point for that. Some die cuts from the new My Mind Eye. This is from the collectible, and I also collectible line. And I also have the 6x6 pad, as well as this paper here is a 12x12 version. And I do that sometimes if there's a pattern that I really like. I tend to always buy the 6x6 pads because they work so well for pages and for cards. And then if there's a pattern I love and I know I want to use it on a page, I'll pick that up in the 12x12. So that's what I've done there. And the rest of the things are from Pebbles, including the new clothespins, which are so cute and pretty, from the new Basics line. And then from the Love You More Boy line, I have the sticker set here, as well as this pattern paper, which I actually think I'll be using the B side because it's a really great ledger. And then as well as two of the new chipboards, which as I'm filming this aren't in the shop, so I'm really hoping that they get them in soon because this is a fabulous font, uppercase and lowercase, and I really, really love it. And it's called Kenzie. So yeah, so that's what I've pulled so far. I have my pictures ready to go here somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to use this pattern paper for my background. This was again the My Mind's Eye one. And the back of it's this nice green, but I really like this. It's almost like elongated jacks from the kids game. So I'm just going to adhere this to it, and I'm going to add that a little off center to the left here. No real rhyme or reason for where I'm adding it. I just know I want it to be slightly off center. Whoops. Next, I'm going to add my, well, not quite add my photos yet, but I probably will add them somewhere a little like that. And I like these die cuts. Maybe this one with all the cute little boy words. A little something like that. I would probably add journaling and stuff down here. So this white space, I don't want to keep it white. And I think that's where the ledger paper that I pulled is going to come out. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut a strip to fit right there. So instead of cutting a strip of paper like I thought I might here, I just did the entire sheet, just shy of 8.5 by 11. So I think I did it 8 by 10.5. And that fits on there perfectly, and went ahead and adhered my photos because I'm quite certain of their placement there. And I really thought I'd use this die cut for the title. And I think I'm going to line it up so the bottom peak there is in line with the photos. I just think visually that'll look the best. And I'm just going to add it to the top with some staples from my little tiny attacher. Alright, so I have the little staples up there. I think that's a really cute addition. And I pre-printed my journaling like I usually do. That way I choose the size beforehand and then just end up working it onto the layout wherever I think it's going to work as a design element. So I'm not entirely sure where I will be adding that, but I will be adding that. I think I said down here, and that seems to make sense to me. Yeah, so moving on, I want to add that hello stamp desperately because I just think it's really cute. I can't decide whether I want to stamp directly on the page or stamp on a sheet of paper, cut it out and add it with like foam adhesive or something. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. I actually think I might stamp it on a sheet and cut it out. I think I might go that route just because I'm a little hesitant to stamp on the page and mess it up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, probably just with some white cardstock. And I'll start with the navy. Alright, so I ended up cutting out the 3 stamped images here. The blue, the navy, the tide pool, and then the second stamp of the navy, just to get the 3 different color tones. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere my journaling before I add these. So a little like that for the journaling. And then I want to add these. I thought I'd add them a little like that with some adhesive foam, just for a little bit more dimension to the page. Alright, so there's my 3 cute hellos, and the next thing I thought I'd do is add some washi tape, and I decided on the red. I originally thought I'd go with the aqua color, but I think red's going to be a nice pop of color. And I want to add a piece to the photo up here, and then probably over here. And I'll have to tuck that under my little stamped image here, but that's okay. A little like that. I like the little pops of red. And now I'm feeling like the page, it has all the elements I need, kind of a title here, journaling, photos, but this side of the page is feeling rather empty, so this is when I turn to my embellishments. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to those Pebbles stickers here. And I thought some of these banners might be cute, like the love you and the hello there, so I'm going to pull them off and just give them a try. Alright, well, I'm still not entirely sure about these guys. I do know I definitely want to add a little clip to the page, so I'm going to go ahead and pull those out and figure out what I know first before I go to the unknowns. So I decided on the little kind of aqua teal colored paper clip, and I want to add it to the top of the page. I really love doing that with these clips, just a little bit like that. But I feel like it needs something to ground it to the page, so I thought I'd look for some label stickers. And I have these ones from October Afternoon, and again it's kind of that soft kind of teal color. And I'm just going to pull one off and play around with it and see if I can get something that I like. Just lift that up a bit. You know, just maybe poking out a little bit, just a tiny bit of interest that draws your eye up here to where I'm adding the little clip. So a little like that. I like that better already. I just feel it kind of grounds it and it draws it back into the layout. And I'm going to go ahead and add a couple enamel dots there. And probably some primary colors here. A little like that, just a little detail up there. And I'm going to keep these out and add a couple down here maybe. And one thing I realized is that I have the 2 reds here and they're quite bold, and I feel like I need to create a visual triangle with them. So from my mind's eye, except this is from the Boy Crazy line, there is this red chipboard button. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, and I'm hoping here, that I can use it to cover the O of the boy there. And that'll really just create the visual triangle of the pops of red that I'm wanting. Perfect. Just what I thought it would do. Yeah, so now you have the 3 pieces of red there, and I feel a little better about the layout. So I feel like it's really starting to come together now. This negative space here doesn't bother me now that I've added the bits down here and the bit there. So again, back to the enamel dots. I think I'm going to add a tiny little one to the heart here. And then maybe a couple just sprinkled around. Kind of like a mist, but without the messiness of it. When I get to this point in my layout, I know I'm right at the end of it. I just sit back and I look at it and I try and see if there's anything that's glaring at me that just doesn't work or feels just not quite right. And as I do that, I feel like these hello bubbles are just kind of fading off into nothing. So I think I need a bit of color underneath them or something just to kind of, I don't really know how to say what I'm thinking, but just to kind of make them a little more present. So I'm going to go back to the stickers for this collectible line. And I thought maybe it's kind of a little chevron, not chevron, like arrowhead, arrowhead arrow. And maybe if I can slide this under here, it's not the length of all three and that's not going to bother me. I just want a tiny bit of color underneath them just so they don't feel so lost on the page. Maybe like that. And straight away I feel better about those. I just feel like that works better. So I'm going to keep that. And then the other thing that I think is kind of driving me nuts, and maybe it's because I don't often do pattern paper backgrounds, but I feel like it's just a bit too much. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this down a little bit and then just adhere it to a piece of plain white cardstock. So I'm going to have two tiny little white borders that kind of, well, border the page and draw your eyes just to the center, because I feel like they're just flowing off into nowhere because just the busyness of the paper. That's probably just a lot of mumbo jumbo, but all that to say, I really think I just need two little borders of white to make the page feel completely done. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out a sheet of white cardstock and do that. Okay, so I'm really loving the addition of the white border there. It's such a tiny little addition, but really I think it just pulls the page together. So before I move on to the card, I wanted to mention one quick thing. I'm not a scrapbooker who adds a ton of photos to my page. I really enjoy the process of creating the page just as much as telling the story. And sometimes when I'm doing the process, a ton of pictures just isn't really going to work. But at the same time, this day I took a lot of pictures that I didn't want to get lost. And by lost, I mean I wasn't going to scrapbook this again, and I didn't want them just sitting on a computer drive or in, you know, a box of photos. I wanted them to be in the album with this. So what I personally do is I take advantage of these divided photo pages, and this one is the Photo Freedom by Echo Park. I just grabbed one of their newest kits, so I'll link it on 2Ps, and this is one of the sheets in it. I really love it, and for me, this is how it's going to sit in my album. So you're going to have all the journaling that I need to relate to the pictures here, and then these are the bonus pictures that, again, I love, and I could have done, you know, 4 or 5 scrapbooks about the one event, but 4 or 5 pages about the one event, but it didn't seem to make sense to me. So when I have an event or a day or whatever that has a lot of photos, this is how I will include it in my album. And I just thought I'd share that little bit with you guys. I know sometimes I'll see on the board people saying, what's with, you know, all these pages with so few photos, and don't you take more? And yes, the answer is I do take more, and that's how I include them in my album, is just like that. So yeah, just a little thing I thought I'd share with you guys. And yeah, I'm gonna move on to the card now. Alright, so it's time to start on my card, and I'm starting with an American Crafts cardstock. And this was a standard size card, and I've just cut off a 1/2 inch because I tend to prefer those cards that are a little bit skinnier. And I have taken the 6x6 pad from the same line as the background pen and paper I used on my layout, and I've pulled this sheet from it. I kind of like the blue, and I thought I like the tone-on-tone of this die cut. So I've pulled out I had this die cut pulled out for my layout, and I didn't use it, and so I thought I'd use it on my card. I had an extra stamped hello. I have the same washi tape out because I think I'll try and incorporate that again so that they look a little cohesive. And then I have this sticker from a collectible sticker sheet. I cut off the end there. I thought I was going to use it on something else, and I didn't, so I have this here, and I think I'm going to try and incorporate it on this card. And then I'll probably add some enamel dots, buttons, or whatever, but this is what I'm starting with. So I'm just going to put the paper pad away for now. I may come back and grab some more papers, And I'm going to, I think I'm going to do similar to what I did on the layout and have two little white border strips there. Alright, so I have that sewed down. I did use the same yellow thread that I used on the layout because it was in my machine. And I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this part. And I'm going to have it close to the top of the card because I think I'm going to add some little banner stickers down here. So a little like that temporarily. I'm not going to push down too hard in case I change my mind. But from the same Boy Crazy little decorative button set here that I used the red on the page, there's these 4 little banners down here, and I thought they'd be kind of cute at the bottom of this library card. I'm actually just going to trim them off the sheet here, and that way I can just kind of temporarily put them there to see if I really like the way that looks. And I realized this library card can go down a lot further. And that way I thought I could add some red washi tape up here just like I had on the layout. That. And then my thought really was to have the charming sticker there. And maybe the hello a little like that. So I really do like the way that looks, so I'm going to go ahead and start adhering things officially. And just have a couple pop dots to peel off here. Line that back up. I added some adhesive foam to this stamped hello, which I still think is just the cutest little stamp ever. And I really do love the Hero Arts Navy ink. I just thought it was a beautiful color and stamped so well. So, and I'm going to go ahead and I think actually with these guys I'm going to, you can see there's little tiny little holes for the bunting, so I think I might pull back the twine and add that through them before I adhere them to the card there. Alright, it dawned on me that now that I'm not doing the layout, I probably should have zoomed in for you guys, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit more just while I work on the card here. And I've done the little chipboard banners here on the twine, so I'm just going to adhere those to the card. Press them down, and then I'm going to cut off the little twine. And there we go. Next I thought I'd do the enamel dots, and I want to bring back in some yellow. And so I was thinking either the 3 little yellow ones there or the 3 bigger ones. And I think I'll go with the little guys. Alright, so I thought I was going to try and figure out if I could get some of these pebbles stickers to work on the card. But I really just don't think there's space. On the front at least, I might actually add this "You Make Me Smile" as a sentiment on the inside or something. But I think the front of it is just kind of perfectly spaced that adding any additional elements will just throw off the look of the card. So I think I'm going to call it a day with the card. And I'm going to zoom back out again. Alright, so I'm calling it a day with both my projects here. I had a lot of fun today, and as always, I love that once I've picked out my products for the first page, and I'm done that, I have everything ready to go for a second project, and it just comes together so quickly, especially when you stamp some extra images as you're going. So I didn't even have to cut that out or anything, it was just ready to go, added some foam adhesive, and I'm done. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. So I have the card here and my page, and I thought I'd show again my photo page that sits in my album just like that. Yeah, so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them on 2Ps or YouTube, and I'll get back to you. And if you're on YouTube and you want to see the products that I use, right below there will be a link to the 2Ps site, and I'll have all the products there as well as a couple others that I think you guys might like. And that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had a blast, and hopefully I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.